Try again. This time with the Wi-Fi turned on. Good morning, good morning. Are we up? Looks good. Audio, full stream, no drop frames. Minus 5.2 dBs. I started a stream without the Wi-Fi being turned on. Okay, we have a new audio setup from scratch here today. No, it wasn't you that crashed, it's me. I crashed it. I started it with the machine was trying to use the Wi-Fi from 2 floors up, which it couldn't do. So I crashed the stream, reset the Wi-Fi, and started again. Sorry about that, my error. But what I need to know is, I need a bit of feedback from you on the audio levels. We have a new microphone setup, and I have no idea. I've taken away all the audio filtering, all the noise suppression, all the gating, all the limiters, everything is turned off. We have a bare audio signal. And when I tested it by recording a stream a few minutes ago, it was totally silent, perfect. Someone says snowy audio, meaning what? We do have a computer fan running, so if this is actually a very nice audio stream, it's picking up the sound of the computer fan. White noise could be the computer fan picking up here. The mic is over there. A bit of fuzzy going on, I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, it seems it's okay to get going, is it? All right. Slushy sound, what does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, if you can hear me, let's just get going. Okay, today is Thursday. What's the deal? Why is the camera outside? The camera's outside because Cameron will not be here today. He's up in Niigata Prefecture, up in the snow country, where they have finally had some snow. They've been waiting for months. This is the people who prepare the mulberry fiber. The people who prepare the mulberry fiber for paper making. And they normally harvest in, depending on the area in Japan, they harvest in November or December or January during the winter. This particular place normally harvests in January. They cut the stuff and they strip it off and they bleach it in the snow. They lay it on top of the snow in the sunshine. This year they have had lots of sunshine, but no snow. So they've been waiting. Last week they had a batch of snow, so they called Cameron and said, get up here, we're going to be doing it. So, so that's where he is. He's up there today and tomorrow with all the video cameras, getting ready to shoot it. Which is actually a bit unfortunate for me, the timing, because he's off today and tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and then he's normally off Saturday and Sunday. So it means 4 days off with nobody running the order entry system, which is unacceptable. Of course, we have to ship. So I had to do that this morning. I ran the order entries this morning and the subscription billing. So that the staff could get busy shipping today. Okay, let's stop talking and get some carving. Okay, we're on screen. Here we are. It's the cartouche. It's the last part of the line work for this block. And the first kanji here, of course, is Neko, cat. This is the kanji. Neko Hakkei. Are we in enough? Could we get zoomed in a bit more, maybe? what's happening over here this morning. More Zoom. What? It's quiet out there. I know the last few days Asakusa has been, of course, quieter than normal, but it's not like it's completely dead, you know. When I went out last night for dinner, the bars on the street here, Hoppidori, they're still all full. And there was a few days there last week when the city sort of seemed like it was getting ready to shut down. The restaurants and bars were really all very quiet. There was sort of a, oh my God, what are we going to do kind of a feeling. But it's coming back to normal, and everybody realizes it's a city of 35 million people here. And there's like a couple of hundred people who have been exposed to this virus, so it's not exactly like it's a panic situation here. The girls here, Shiba-san came in yesterday, she said her commute had been quite good. She was able to sit down instead of stand up, because a lot of companies have asked their employees to work from home wherever possible. So the trains are definitely lighter than normal. Because the schools are closed, that takes a load off the trains as well. So the city is definitely quieter, no question about it. Our own business, we're in a mixed situation. We're getting lots and lots of cancellations for the late March, April, May period, the spring cherry season, you know, our normal spring tourist season. It's obviously going to be Death Valley. You know, many people have cancelled their plans to come to Japan this spring, clearly. But on the other side of that, we're getting lots and lots more reservations for the same day or the next day or a couple of days from now. And these are people who are already in Tokyo. They're looking around now and there's nothing to do. They can't get into a sports event, the museums are closed, everything's shut down, and they're desperate for something to do. They poke around, they come across our website, and they find that we, at present anyway, are still up and running. Not quite sure how long we'll be able to run for. There's a few things that might limit this. If we run out of staff, you know, people who don't want to come and do this, then I can't offer the service anymore. And if the city offices tell us, okay, all small-scale shops, please shut down. At the moment, they haven't done that. There's no intimation of that. So we're still here. We're just up and running. You know. did I see that Audrey San finally got married? I'm not sure what you mean finally. We've known she's been engaged, she's pregnant, she's having a baby, she's flashing her ring. You mean the actual ceremony has happened? That I don't know about, but we've known. I don't know, she met her partner here. He came for a print party. He came for a print party, so... Evan, eh? So they're married because of a print party at Neko Hakkei. It's bizarre. I can't tell too many stories about somebody else, but you know, he came for a print party just one day. Happened to be on a day when she was here, and whatever. I guess he was impressed by her, whatever the word is to use. We didn't know this, of course, nothing. You know. He came back a few days later to do another print party. And it was a different day of the week. He didn't realize that she was only on Wednesdays. So he'd come back to do another print party because he's really interested in print parties. And she wasn't here, and he was kind of like... It's good fun to watch. Good fun to watch. At one point, after he'd come back 2 or 3 times, it was kind of clear that he was interested in her. I was a little tiny bit nervous about that, because there are people who have a friendly interest and there are people who have a difficult interest. So I had to tell her, this guy is here asking about you, is it okay, you know? And she gave me the sign. She said, no, he's cool, it's okay, don't worry about this date. So once she cleared it with me, it was okay, you know. And here they are, married and having kids and all that stuff, just from a Neko Hakkei print party. Quite sure what to think about all that, you know. And it really is kind of bizarre. You know, just one action I took one day thinking about, that's okay, let's do this, let's open a little business, let's try this. And because of those actions I took, you know, human beings are coming into existence who didn't exist before, you know. I made my own kids, that's fine. Those kids are created because of actions I did. We all get that. But to find that other human beings and other lives are being affected by things I do, that's kind of different. You know? Wait, I hear the door upstairs, sliding door. Did somebody come in a minute ago behind me there? You should be able to see them on the camera. Suga-san, Dei-chan, somebody come in? Who's in today? It's going to be Ishikawa-san. She's working on print number 4 in this year's series. In fact, all 3 of them, Dei-chan, Suga-san, Ishikawa-san, they're working on print number 4. Baby born 9 months from print party. I don't think so. I have nothing to do with that part of it. Does everyone wear masks in Tokyo? Huge numbers of people wear masks all the time. Anybody who's got the slightest cough always wears a mask when they're out in public. In normal environment, masks are so you don't shoot it to somebody else. For the most part, people aren't expecting that the mask is going to protect them. Although nowadays, of course, it's working both ways. People are expecting it. Did they carve the kanji without moving the block? Yes, for the most part, yes, yes, yes. When you think about a kanji, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be long streams of it. And if you rotate your block, you're wasting half of your workday. Absolutely. You're wasting so much time when you rotate the block. It's not just the physical time of moving it that you're not carving while the block is moving. It's that once the block stops moving, like this, I'll turn it now. Okay, I'm not carving, not carving, not carving. I gotta land it. I have to find where I am. I have to figure it out where I am, cut it in, and now put my knife back in. And I've easily lost like half the actual working time. So there's no way in the old days the guys would have rotated the block. I mean, we can see it in the finished blocks, the angle of the way the cuts are made. It just wasn't necessary. I rotate, and most of the people nowadays rotate, because we just work at a different level, a lower level. Those guys worked as carvers all day long from the time they were little kids. It was all about the money. Time equals money. Of course it was. We can't even pretend to match. It's not that they were greater human beings than us. Of course we build neat stuff now today that they couldn't even conceive of. So it's not that they were wonderful and we were not wonderful. It's we're focusing on different things. I spent an hour this morning doing bookkeeping. The previous older carvers didn't even have to think about that kind of stuff. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's no requirement for speed these days. The old carver had to make a living at it when he was, paid. They were making very cheap consumer products. Nowadays, the consumers, you guys out there, are willing to pay more for these things. So it means that people like me don't have to work at a frantic pace just to try and keep our nose above water. The value of the product has been revalued to something much more valuable than it was in the old days. So because of that, we are able to work at a slower, steadier pace. remember how that last character looks. This way. So the last character comes this way, down. Okay, there's Neko. This is Hachi, number 8. There is something, a package arrived yesterday. Something that I've been following auctions when I was over in Vancouver a couple of weeks ago. I still followed the Japanese auctions, although it was difficult to do that. I lost a lot of auctions because of the time of day. The Japanese auctions, for the most part, end in the evening, Japan time. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the evening is the typical time for people to close their auctions. For the most part, you want to be there at the end of the auction, because if you bid your full price earlier, almost inevitably somebody will just run it up. So it's much better to bid in the last couple of minutes. On the off chance that the other person who wants that goods is not there or can't be there, he's out for dinner or something. So the auction is closing at 9 o'clock in the evening, Japan time. Means it was, for me over in Vancouver, 4 o'clock in the morning. So this was not something I was able to do every day. The first couple of days it was easy because I was on a jet lag anyway. So I did. But after that, after the first few days, I really wasn't able to participate in too many auctions from over there. But I got a few. I did. I set my alarm clock for a few of them. One in particular was something I really, really wanted to get. And I set my alarm clock, bid on it, and I got it. So when I got back, I paid for it over there, and when I got back, it was here. So if you remind me towards the end of this stream, let's spend the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. I have a book. Well, it's not a book, it's an album. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? Oh yeah, it's on this chair here. Remind me about it and I'll have a look at it. It'll be a page turner. And I haven't had a chance to study it yet, so there's lots of questions I will have, which maybe you guys can help me with. What's this? What's this? What are we looking at? That kind of stuff. Dave has an extensive collection of prints. Are there other types of goods? No, I don't collect anything. When I was a little kid, it was like postage stamps and stuff I collected. These days I have no acquisitive interest in anything. So no, it's just, for me, it's just research, prints. Banners, there are new banners up there. Yeah, the Olympic banners are there, out there somewhere. I think we can only see one, oh yeah, we see two from where we are. There's a blue one in the middle of the picture and a right one on the left hand side. These are the 2020 Olympics banners. Something, every street has been asked to do something for decoration. The city provided a bunch of different designs. There's lots of posters available. And organizations across the city are encouraged to use this stuff and make up posters and decorate their environment and stuff like that. So this street, there was two changes this week in this street while I was away actually. One was the Olympic banners went up. Second is, I had known this was coming, the security cameras. We now have a set of security cameras on our street. We can't see from here. There's one, it's just off to the right, where that red banner is. I think it's actually mounted near the top of that post. One of the cameras that looks down in front of our shop. Then there's 3 or 4 or 5 up the rest of the street. And they're wired into the local police office. And why this is happening now, there's really no specific reason for it. There's no security concern here at all. But one day it would be, I don't know, a year or so ago, or I can't remember. The lady across the street from me, the bag lady, you can't see her shop here. It's the shop we see normally when we have our daily view out the window. Somebody tagged her shutter. They just put the name of their rock band or something on her shutter. And she went ballistic and she demanded this and demanded that. And so these cameras now, I think they're an upshot of that experience. And I guess it can't hurt if there is some kind of incident on the street one day, if there's one of the shops gets robbed or something, I don't know. I suppose it's the modern way, I don't know. No, I haven't seen any more graffiti at all since that one. It was a one-off, you know. There's very little graffiti in Tokyo to speak of anyway. And this area, this part of town, is not the kind of place that would attract those kind of guys, you know. Tagging their band names or whatever it is. When was that? A year ago? A couple of years ago? I don't remember. It must have been just after we ourselves got in the first floor shop, because we had just put our own shutter up and she was tagged and we're thinking, whoops, where are we going to go with this? I washed our shutter on Tuesday. Tuesday was the monthly cleaning day on the street here, and there was lots of contributors. The vaudeville theatre next door sent all their kids out to help clean. So we had a surfeit of people helping to clean. So I didn't work on the street cleaning, I worked on our shutter. I wiped and polished up our shutter. Okay, there's 2 characters. Neko Hakkei, count 8. Now we'll move on to K, which is view, scenery. Yeah, the cameras, anything to do with the Matsuri, I don't know. The police, anyway, they are filming all the Matsuri floats anyway, separately, so I don't think it's really a connection with that. To the Olympic goods being a collector's item, if this is all cancelled, you know. For the first time now in the news reports, the last few days, there has been open discussion of what to do about the Olympics. Up to now, they've had this thing about, nope, no plan, we're going to go ahead, we're going to go ahead. And they even made a statement, it was a couple of weeks ago, one of those guys made a statement and said, we are not actively planning anything. Believe it, people, the Olympics are going to go ahead. And it became clear that that was delaying, that was being sort of negligent in his duty. They should be, preparing a plan B. And now they're at the stage where they can admit there is a plan B and that there is discussion of what to do about this. And I have no inside track on that, whatever, just for the news. I guess there are a few options, are there? Postpone for a few months, postpone for a year to keep it at the same time in the calendar, cancel, I don't know. And it's just one of the most staggeringly complex events that human beings do, maybe the most complex event that human beings ever run. And postponing it would be just astonishingly difficult. So I don't know, I'm sure glad I'm not in that particular hot seat. So this block, it's the cat series, and these will not be a collection. Well, it'll be an optional collection. They're not going to be sold as a set only. They will be sold one by one by one. This will be the first one up and running. I'm not even going to pretend to give you a time when it's going to be up in the shop, but the prints from this series will be individual items in our shop here in Alexa and of course online. Excuse me. They shouldn't be too expensive, and it won't be a demand that you buy all. It won't be a subscription series. But having said that, once they are all done at some point, years from now when they're all done, because they will be a unified set, we may be doing something like prepare a box for them or make them available as a set or whatever. We'll get to that point once we get to that point. But at the moment the prints are going to be just simply one by one. They'll be packaged individually the same as our normal prints that we have in the shop here. But I'm not going to name a number yet, I don't know. But no, they won't be all that expensive. They're reasonably sized small prints. They don't look like they're going to be too difficult to print. I mean, that's, again, I chose things that weren't too difficult. And when it comes time to print this one, of course, we will get the video camera out. We will do, of course, a complete video run-up on how the printing work is done on these. And then we'll probably combine that with a video, a bunch of clips from this Twitch stream or something, and put together a video showing how the thing was made. Get a few comments from Randall, the designer. Should be able to make a nice presentation. Not sure when my own next video will be ready. It depends on this virus and how this is going. At the moment, I'm really working overtime here on these different jobs. I'm doing paper sizing, the bookkeeping. We're still writing a new bookkeeping system, software system for our new company. I'm doing all the sizing. I'm in the production chain at many places, so it has really limited the video time. But if the word comes down from on high that shops must close, or if the other countries involved stop accepting returns from Japan, in other words, if our tourist business totally disappears in the next few weeks, then Dave is going to get the camera out. I'm going to get busy with YouTube, absolutely. If this shutter goes down, I've got 3 or 4 projects that I will absolutely prioritize. One is video, and one is octopus. So the print party attendees will be sad. We're not offering parties, but it's not like we're going to go on a holiday here. We have lots of things to get going. The print party is dead. Long live the octopus. We'll see how it goes. We were chatting about this yesterday, making our plans. And she's here working the print parties with me. She and I will be doing the first print party today at 10 o'clock. She's the same mood, She likes working here. She likes doing the print parties, stuff like that. But she also makes her own prints. She's done those spider prints, the horror prints, and ghosts, stuff like that. And she is the same mood. She says, oh my God, please close the door, because she wants to get to work making prints. So do we ever have plan B? We're okay. Or somebody like a Toyota, they've got a car factory, they've got to shut it down because there's no parts from China and stuff. We're okay. We've got a deck of paper upstairs, we've got a bunch of wood blocks, we have all of our tools. All we need is just time. Suga-san, you were talking about that. I know, yeah, she's excited both ways. She's excited and apprehensive. And she clearly said, look, I don't think I'm ready for this. And I clearly said, I think you are ready for this. Look at the work you've been doing recently, etc., etc., etc. We had a quiet discussion about it. She, yells and screams sometimes, whatever, but we also have normal discussions as well, So we did talk about it. We took a sample of the print that I had made before, and we went over it. The blocks are here now. The blocks came from Oni. And we haven't gone through the block set one by one, color by color, but we went through the print. We picked up the print and looked at it. And we just talked about it, and I said, I think you can do it. And she said she's really worried about the hair, getting the gradation around the hair done. And I get it, because that is absolutely the key to that print. The head and face have to look just right. The expression in the eyes, the gradation on the hair. That is, she's right, that's the key to that print. And whatever, we're going to give it a try. So she's, at the moment, she's working on the 4th print in the current series. She'll keep going till that's finished about Thursday or Friday. And then she's going to do, as I said a few minutes ago, she's going to do an extra job for me. She's going to do the last metallic pigment on the Sushi Cats print. She and Dei-chan might do that together, we're not quite sure yet. And then when that's out of the way over the weekend, she will start proofing on the scent of chrysanthemums. So all going well, a few weeks from now, we would perhaps have that back in stock. And at the moment, I think the pricing, it will be pretty much the same price as the Great Wave, I think. It's far fewer impressions than the Great Wave, but it's a smaller print. I mean, it's far more impressions than the Great Wave, but it's a smaller print. And, we can't charge much more than that. And we'll see. We'll see how much time it takes her, and also how many spoiled copies she ends up with, because that's a key factor when we're costing these things. Spoiled copy isn't just the cost of a sheet of paper, it's the cost of all the time it takes to make it up to the point where it gets spoiled. We've got to factor that in. And our normal rule of thumb is 10%. If we wanted, for example, to get 100 prints, if we were making an edition of 100, for a normal print, we'd throw 110 into the batch, because there's inevitable prints that just don't make it through. But some designs need a much larger percentage than others. And we don't know the number for that one. So the price will depend on the paper size, cost of the paper, how long it takes her to get through it, and how many spoiled copies there are. And once we've got that information on hand from her first run, we'll set the price. The current guess might be about the same price as our Great Wave. Quiet out there, Nate. It's 9 o'clock. It is quiet. Quiet, quiet, quiet. First party of our day is scheduled for 10 o'clock, and I think there's another one at 2:30. I'm not sure. I don't remember the schedule. The 10 o'clock party, I think, is iffy. It was people who were originally scheduled to come yesterday. And the guy called us. He said, my partner's not feeling so well, so can we postpone for a day? And we're like, sure, of course. Nobody knows what we can do about it. So it's quite possible he may call this morning again and say, not feeling well, even worse. So who knows? We'll see. I think at this moment we're just pretty much reactive. We can't be proactive on these parties. We're here, we're ready to go, paper is ready. And it's really up to the attendees. If they can make it here and want to do it, we're good to go. A woman, I think it was a woman, she wrote like 2 days ago, she said, I'd like to reserve, but I see that nobody else is in that particular spot. If I reserve just one, is it still possible to get a print party? So I wrote back to her and said, yes, the plane will fly with just one passenger. Okay. at what happens at that. And yesterday too, Shiba-san did one party yesterday afternoon with just one lady, a lady from Germany. And the party started at 1 o'clock. And they finished about 4. Obviously, when there's only one, we don't do the normal. You know, we have a sort of a structure. We do this first, then this, then this. The 4 people rotate through. We've got a structure to how these things work. But when there's only one person, you can't do it the same way. When there's 4 people going through, you know, person number 1 does the blue block, he moves on to yellow, person number 2 does the blue block and stuff like that. So the blocks are all in use, staying moist. But when there's just one person, we can't do it the same way. If we did, okay, do the blue first, then move to the yellow, the block is dry, then move to block number 3, then come back and do number 1 again, the block's always dry. So when there's only one person, we do it a whole different way. We coach them in how a professional printer would do this. We practice how to hold the paper, we practice how to print, and we say, okay, here's the blue block, let's make 3 copies. 1, 2, 3, while the block stays moist and it's ready to go. Then, like a professional printer, we put the blue block away and start with the yellow. So when there's only one person in a session, it's a completely different session. It becomes like a private workshop, private lesson. And then yesterday the lady spoke Japanese. She's German, but she spoke a bit of Japanese. Shiba-san, of course. So they just ended up just chatting and talking and showing and teaching, and the questions led to this. Just one hour, and it took 2 hours. So that lady got a real bargain. For me, it doesn't matter. I got to pay Shiba-san anyway, so it doesn't matter. We should rush her through in 1 hour, go out, and we'll just sit here and do nothing. Doesn't make any sense. So Shiba-san happily spent a couple of hours with her. She's happy, the customer's happy, everybody's happy. But no way can we promise such a thing. No way. Just the luck of the draw. It also helps too that that woman was personable. You know, good questions, interesting. Shiba-san responded. If the person is a bit of a whatever, different kind of person, then no, we will do the thing as we need to do the thing, and thank you very much and goodbye and see you later. But this lady was interested and smart and interesting and doing a good job. So the two of them just ran with it. I joked about it with Shiba-san yesterday, you know, the woman only paid $2,000, so am I going to pay you $1 an hour for this? We just joked. Okay, then we have the basic kanji. Neko Hakkei, cat, 8, view. Literally just the concepts by themselves in the kanji. Neko Hakkei. And then the bottom two, now this is the title of this particular print. It's Evening Snow. And these are small. I think I need to boost my magnification here. So hang on a sec, let me zoom in. And this is going to cause me, I'm going to have to move the scope up here. This is going to be a jiggly thing. Hang on a sec. This is not an easy adjustment. There we go. Good. Okay, what's happening? How are we doing for time? It's 8:56. Look at that, 1 hour for 3 characters. I am the slowest carver on this planet. And you can quote me on that. Was that suicide going up? Did you see it going into verse? Good. What quality barons are used for the PPs? We are using the Murasaki barons. If you look on Matsumura's website, you'll see them there. They're about $100 each, somewhere around there. We have 4 barons in the print party room, 2 soft Murasaki baron and 2 hard Murasaki baron. And a couple of reasons we use those is, one, they're physically harder, so the customers don't have to, they don't know how to really put nice pressure inside. So the barons help they're a student level bearer. They help the printer. And also, they last like crazy. We don't want, we get printed bang, 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 bang. We really don't want to wear out a good home button in there. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Remind me about Chantal. Give me another 10, 15 minutes and look at Chantal. Okay, we're scaling up a level on smallness here. These characters are half this size. And at this scale now, this wood is soft. It's still cherry, it's still hard, but at the scale we're talking about now, cutting inside a millimeter, no matter how hard the wood you get, it really, really, really is a bit soft and spongy. So I have to be really careful here. Actually, for calligraphy of this level, it really would have been nice to have boxwood, but I don't know, putting an inlay in at this point, this doesn't. Something else too I had meant to mention. When I got back from Canada, there was a batch of great waves waiting for me. Actually, they were already being shipped out, of course. I think somebody mentioned it, it's got the great wave. So this batch was waiting for me when I got back from Canada, so I checked over it. And I also took the time and trouble. I went back to my file folders and I brought out some great waves from the first printing batch. And I put them under the microscope here. This newest ones here and the ones from the first batch. And I'd be lying if I said I can't tell the difference. That's not true. We can tell the difference. We can see block wear to some point. But there is no way that this is block wear to the point where I'm going to say, I don't think we can ship this. I mean, it's perceptible, but somebody who looks at any one of these prints, the newest ones we've just made, in no way is going to think, oh my God, look at this, it's wearing out. If I just showed you just that one print, you wouldn't know. It's when you see them side by side, I can point out a few places. Look at this, see that bit of roundness there, see that little bit of dullness there. So there is a difference, but no way one that's going to impact our ability to sell these prints. Yet. And we're up now to, I think we're up to about 1,700 copies on this. And we are on this all the time. We are watching, watching, watching. And the reason that this block set is lasting so well, it's because of the way that we treat it, Really different from the old days. We have the luxury of taking time on this. I mean, we are making the luxury. That's why we have a huge waiting list, because we don't make so many prints from this in one batch. We limit ourselves to 60 sheets of paper on this. And in the old days, they would have just laughed at this. It's not even worth getting warmed up. Printer just starts to get warmed up by 60 sheets. You don't quit at 60. But the reason we're quitting at 60 is because that's when the wood starts to get really wet and soft. You get this hard piece of cherry wood, rock hard. It hasn't had water on it for a month. We start printing it, bang, it starts drinking this water. And after about 50, 60, whatever, that number of dozens of copies, it gets saturated and it starts to get soft. And that's when we quit. At the point when the brush and the pigment would be the most abrasive to the wood. So as I said, the old guys will just shake their heads in just stupefaction. You can't stop at 60, but we do. And because of that, this block is lasting. I'm going to say forever, it's not going to last forever, but it is lasting way, way much longer than it would have back in the old days. Those blocks I have from the Okada Yoshio set, the Genji set we have, which was nominally an edition of 300, they are hugely worn. And we're up to 1700 now, and showing barely any wear at all. But the downside is, in 3 years, 4 years, we've only sold 1700 prints, whereas in the old days they would have sold tens of thousands of worn copies. I think when we hit the 2000, we'll do another video. We'll put the copies side by side under the microscope, put the block under the scope, and just show people what we can see. Baron rental, is that what you're talking about there? Or just as a try before you buy, I don't. conversation, lots of conversation. Where are we here? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my God, look at all this. You're mentioning this trinity of the illustrator, carver, and the printer. I don't think that's a term I use. I almost always use it as a quartet. And in fact, it's funny you mention that now because, hang on, let me reach over this system here. Oh, if I can do this without crashing everything. No, I can't reach it. Ow! Hang on one second, this is an important point. Hang on. What did I do with it? Nanda. What? Oh, it's here. It was in reach all the time. Sorry about that. It was in reach. I finally, after years and years of searching, got a copy of this book. And this, it's not a trinity, it's not three, it's the four. And this is from 1949 or something. Actually, if Jacques is watching this morning, Jacques, this is where you live, right? Leyden. This is also from the Rijksmuseum. So, this is the key. Because from my point of view, the one you didn't mention it, illustrator, carver, printer, you didn't mention the most important one. From my point of view right now. And that's the publisher, the guy who is putting it all together. And you mentioned it doesn't happen in other forms of art. The one you might think about is making a movie, making a film. And that's a perfect example, I think, of a totally big major breakdown in how you do it. There's a guy at the top with a vision about the whole thing, directing or producing, whatever, one of those two guys is the one who is, visioning the whole thing. And then you hire a bunch of other people. You hire your light man, your cameraman, the best guy in their field. You get a script writer, all the different people do their jobs as well as they can under the guidance and direction of the guy at the top. And that's what's happening here. In fact, that's a good example. Look at this. You saw this the other day. You've already seen this. I showed it to you on Monday. The cats, the sushi cats, the brand new beautiful sushi cats print we've just done. This is a perfect example of this. I didn't touch this sheet of paper until just now. Jed did the design. I threw it back and forth. I called the carver. I told him what to do. I kept his feet against the fireplace. The printer, when she saw the block, she said, "You're kidding, right?" And I said, "No." And I paid, and she worked, and here we have. So this is a perfect example of your quartet at work. And there's been nothing like this produced for decades here. There's your quartet. I didn't touch this, but my hands are all over it. And I'm the guy who's proud of this. Look what I made. But I didn't touch it. Whatever, long story short. My info page titles are invisible for people who use dark theme. What's dark theme? Do I care about this? Alright, whatever. I'll think about it later. Okay, I can't read all this now. I really should. How did Randall, or me, it's me, source the calligraphy that appears inside the cartouche? It's just done all vector graphics. We have a number of different fonts. It's a script font in Japanese. which is a reasonable imitation of brushwork. The fonts, the cartouches in the ukiyo-e-hira's prints are drawn. Jed doesn't do calligraphy, Jed does figures, and he has a friend at his university over there in Utah who is a calligraphic student and who actually draws the calligraphy. For the cat series, there's no connection with Jed. We just used a standard script font. I forget the name of it, I can look it up if it's important to anybody. And we may be using different fonts for each of the cartouches. Somebody's saying stream buffering, we have no drop frames for 1 hour and 14 minutes, so I think we're okay at this end. Is it time for show and tell? Oh, I've got one more character to do. There's no way, I don't want to rush that. Okay. Yeah, dark theme, I mean, I know the concept of dark theme, but is it a thing in this world of Twitch? I don't know. I didn't even think about that. I myself don't use that sort of thing. But okay, I'll take a note of it. I'll have a look later. Okay, the show and tell is show and tell. I know, actually, this book would have been a good show and tell, but whatever. And I won't talk too much about this right now. It is an interesting book. This dates from of course, the generations before me. And he really tries to make it clear that the four people here. Now, I haven't read this actually. It just came in while I was over in Canada, and I haven't read it. So I'm not going to give you everything this guy says is true or everything this guy says I believe with. I don't know. So I'm going to have to read it myself. Quite often in the older days, people who didn't know much about how the prints were made guessed at a lot of it, and they might whatever. Anyway, as I said, well, I'll read it later, and then I'll have more ability to comment on it. We'll see. Anyway, there it is. But the real show and tell, what we want to do today, let's spend a few minutes on this. Put the block away. This is an album. We've had these kind of prints before here at Neko Hakkei. This is an album, and it dates from, actually the date is in here, it's Taisho 10. Taisho 10, which is, I don't know, 1919? Taisho 10 is what? 1918, 1980? Anyway, 100 years ago. So this album, I'm not sure if the album was made 100 years ago, but the prints that are in it were made just about exactly 100 years ago. And let's try and get a bit more space here. And what it is, it's an album of Senshafra prints. We've had these before, we've talked about these before. These are the prints that were made in collectors, for collectors groups. People, a couple hundred people together would put their money in, throw money in a little bit, and the group leaders would hire a workshop to make the prints. And this is a collection of prints. This is the introductory speech, which I can't read, but it gives a good date here for this. Anyway, let's get to it. What these are. Now, I'm not 100% sure what these are. I've just seen it first yesterday when I unwrapped it. It looks like a collection of street scenes from the old days. And it is dozens and dozens and dozens of prints. They're all in the Senshafra Nicho. A single Senshafra is that size, but in order to make a better image on it, they've doubled them up. You can see the border line is twice, and this is called a Nicho Senshafra. That would be an Icho, Nicho, that's a Yoncho, a 4 up. And they've actually done the thing about making the border lines poke to the outside. And it seems, and again, I'm willing to stand corrected on this, it seems to be things you would see in the streets of Edo, with a twist towards being sort of entertainment and actors and street sellers and stuff like that. Let's see what I mean. This is a food delivery place. A guy with a package of food going from maybe a sushi restaurant out to a tea house delivering dinner. This one seems to be a group of women with kids going to the public bath. They've got their basket, they've got their towels on their heads. This is, and this is what it says, this is Shitori Sumo, one-man sumo. Oh, Evelyn-san, Tobi-san, whoa. Are you guys in today? I didn't know that.
No, we weren't in the calendar, but I asked Ayumi and I saw there's a party.
There's a party? Get to it, I've got lots of work to do. Great,
and
thank you.
Printing. Upstairs.
Upstairs?
We talked about.
Do you need help finding stuff and whatever?
A
Or?
little later, I just wanted to help cleaning
Okay,
and then
okay.
I'm going upstairs.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's too bad this wasn't yesterday, because we had German people for the print party yesterday.
Oh, that's
So, next Wednesday, do you know what next Wednesday?
No.
I'm sure the foreign ministry is coming along with a guest from Germany. Okay, let me get off the stream here when we're finished.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
talk to you about this. Okay, hang on a sec.
Thank you.
Okay, wait a minute. This is Shitori Sumo. And I've never heard of this before. Is this a thing? I'm seeing this for the first time together with you. It seems there was some kind of acting out on the street. He's got a bottle of something, he's got a fan, and I guess he would be asking for money, a street actor. One man sumo, he's pulling on his butt, he's pushing his head up. How do you fight yourself for sumo? I don't know, but I guess it was a thing. I'm gonna have to look it up a bit more and find out what's going on. And it just goes on, page after page after page. We know what this one is. This is what they call in Japanese kamishibai. In England they had like a Punch and Judy show, right? Guy with puppets and whatever. Here in Japan they had many similar ones. And I'm not sure if this is a puppet one or if this is he's got sheets of paper coming forward telling a story. Also, I don't know what the business model is here. He's entertaining kids, but kids are not the richest people in town. I really don't know the business model. Maybe parents would throw a coin in the bucket, or they're selling candy on the side or something. I don't know. This is clearly some kind of entertainer, or he's selling this particular toy. It's a balancing toy. You've seen this. I used to do this with 2 forks when I was a kid. You could get 2 forks, stick the tines together with a toothpick in, and it would balance on a piece of string. That's the same thing here. So first guess for me is he is selling this toy by demonstrating it out and around town. What do we got here? A street entertainer of some kind. Again, there's kids in the background, so maybe it's something aimed at kids. I don't know. Another entertainer. This is a one-man band, is it? Shamisen, something on his back. It could be a one-man band. This is an entertainer and a dancer. This could be just for entertainment, or it could be a chindonya. Perhaps they're advertising something. I don't see any posters, so I don't know. This thing just goes on and on and on. What's this one? Your guess is as good as mine. 2 huge baskets. Is that a shovel for sweeping? Is this a street cleaner? I don't know. No idea. Just similar to the last one. This looks like the same kind of thing. Oh, that's a clapper thing. I get it. That's one of those fans that's clacker, clacker, clacker. So it's a noise maker. This, I would guess, it's another basket. So these 2 are clearly related, I think. What does it say? Genko. Genko. What does that mean in this context? No, genkotsu. Genkotsu, with a basket and a clapper. No idea. Public announcements, no idea. And what's this? Has he got a pet crow? Really? Really? This is a dish that they serve sake. This is a sake cup. He throws the sake cup in the air, the crow goes to grab it. Your guess is as good as mine. It just goes on and on and on. A guy with a horse's tail. Another one with the 2 baskets. It says ame. So I think with the baskets we're selling stuff, I guess here. We're selling things. Ame is candy. That's a pretty big basket for candy. No idea. Foxes. Anyway, you can see how it goes. Again and again and again and again. Over they go. Over they go. A set like this wouldn't have all been produced all at once. It looks like something like this would have been, I don't know, again, I can't say subscription set, but it would have been a thing where people knew it was going to be done over a period of some months, and they would pay in, get a few, pay in some more, get a few, pay in some more. There's Shima-san time. Things are wrapping up, things are getting going. So you would have got maybe a group of prints every few months or every month. I'm not sure exactly how it would work. We have no documentation left on this sort of thing. And the number of them, this is such, it just goes on. I'm not even halfway through this thing yet. We have another street entertainer to show. One in the background with the shamisen singing and the actor with the things. What a classic treasure house this is. Selling something here. What is this? Selling mirrors and glasses. Street salesman. That's a mirror. These are clearly some kind of glasses. Don't know what he's holding. What a treasure. What a treasure, what a treasure. It would be really cool. There's no time for it, but scan these, put them up on a website, describe what they are, ask people for their information. Here's more of those clappers. This must have been a real thing, you know. You're out in the street, you're selling stuff, you're doing whatever, you're dancing, you want money. Clappers, clappers. Maybe Edo is really a really noisy place, you know. Good, have a look. This is really cool afterwards. It's really cool. It's a mystery what these people are all doing. It seems like these are different street scenes from Edo. Some of them are clearly people doing a street entertainment or selling things. You know, there's an entertainer and there's somebody with a box telling stories or something, you know.
Like Kamishibai, only with dolls?
With a doll, I guess. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry. I think we had an actual Kamishibai earlier. And there's drummers and there's dancers and there's people selling stuff. It just goes on. There's just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens. Look at this one. I should admit to show. This one's really cool. Look at this. This person's got some kind of get up with a giant head. What are they trying to do? The entertainer at the back with the drum and the singing. Are they selling something? Are they just entertaining? Choroken. Choroken. I don't know the word. Is this
maybe it's
a wooden
street.
horse? Is that a deal? This is entertaining to watch, or are they selling that thing? Or
maybe it's a parade, like for a festival.
I mean, they're all one after the other after the other. I'm not sure because some of them there's clearly like this. They're selling something. They're selling candy, I guess, from the baskets, or like this one. The guy it's a stand and he's selling these at a festival. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, these are probably entertainers, right? For show.
It would seem so, I guess. And in those days, when it's entertainers, were people throwing coins? You know, like somebody's busking these days. I don't know. This looks like a more formally organized group.
Yeah.
Two shamisen in the background, a bunch of dancers, like you'd see in a Bonodoi parade or something.
Where did you get this one?
Oh, auction. Just bought it on auction.
Okay.
And I haven't had a chance yet. There's a front page with a bit of a description of what's going on here and the date, Taisho 10, which I think is about Taisho 10, so November. Maybe good fun. A nice window into an older culture, you know. So this guy looks Mexican, actually, almost. Really.
Or maybe Okinawa? Because of the flowers and the colors, maybe?
Do you think? Maybe. This is actually from all different places in Japan. I would have guessed first it was just basically in Edo, but you know, as I said, I'm open to all suggestions here. This is clearly a salesman shop, selling mirrors and glasses. Anyway. Okay. What's the chatter? David, run. Somebody sneezing. It was me, was it?
No, it's...
So, we're not dying yet. We're all okay. Tokyo still actually basically is a normal city.
Except for the rush hour.
So the rush hour is less rush. The train company is still running trains, but they're not getting paid for it because not so many people in it. So their JR is now going to be in a financial crisis. I read in the news this morning.
Okay.
Because all the trains are still running at normal schedule.
Yeah.
All the staff, all the electricity, and yet the number of people on the trains is half.
Yeah.
So their revenue is hugely crashed.
Oh.
And people are asking for refunds on their taking, stuff like this. I'm like,
Yeah.
give me a break. So JR is having trouble. And they closed the schools, but all the people who provide school lunches, they bought the food and everything and got all the stuff set for a month. So they're throwing away tons of food, and yet the kids all have to eat at home. So this is a huge, huge disruption.
Yes.
The baseball games are empty stadiums, all the people that do food preparation, everything else are laid off.
They are also postponing some, what you call cinema movies.
Yes, so the new James Bond movie has been postponed, I think so.
Yeah.
But so far, we ourselves have almost no impact. It's going to be a quiet spring. No, it's going to be a quiet spring.
Surviving, yeah.
I'm talking the stream here. No. April, May, we've got lots of cancellations, so our spring season will be very quiet. It may be very quiet if we have to close the shut it, we don't know. But in the background, we are taking more online orders, we are making subscription prints, we are busy. Next party starts in 30 minutes. Room for one more person inside. Okay, I gotta get out of here. This is Thursday. I will be back here Saturday morning. Same time, same station. Carving that block. We'll finish the last character in the calligraphy, and then I will move on to the outside. So heads up warning, there will be some noisy banging in Saturday's stream. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I didn't catch all the conversation. I'll try and get some of it later. Bye for now. Goodbye. Drop frames 0. Let's put the outside view up a bit bigger just for a few minutes before I shut this down. And you can see Tokyo is still alive. It's still okay. Yeah, I'll leave that there for 3-4 minutes, then I'll come back and I'll shut it down. Why is it not in focus? The camera's having trouble focusing outside. So how about you guys, your plans for Germany, getting home? Are you okay still? Are the Germans going to allow people from Japan in, do you think, still?
I think the
So far, so good?
situation will be changed very soon. So
Change meaning what? What do you mean?
that
Going this way?
Yeah.
More cases.
There are more cases in Germany.
Yeah.
So they're going to let you in.
Hopefully. I hope
But are
so.
you checking, like, you know,
We
is there any
checked like
news?
last week it seems to go that way that we would have to prove that we don't have coronavirus. But it's become very quiet.
We just have to sign. Before entering Germany, we have to write down where we're from, where we stayed, what persons.
But do you have to show a test result or something?
No, necessary. But I got in touch with my first employee, and we are testing myself and everything. After coming to Germany, it takes about 24 hours.
Because you're worried about your family, your grandfather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe I'm meeting someone at the airport, getting the virus from him.
Of course,
not in
of course.
Germany.
No guarantees here. Yeah.
No, it's become actually very quiet in Germany about people entering Germany because the situation has changed drastically.
Okay,
so.
they've had to become quiet about this. Yeah. So. Okay, let's close this down. There's nothing outside to see anyway. Nobody walking by. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. We're shutting this down now. See you next week, Saturday.